so happy we're in the B styles already. It took all of 7 videos for us to discuss the A1 and the A2 styles, and in fact, out of the 7 videos, it was the first 6. It was 6 of the 7 videos which discussed the A2 style at length, and that was really necessary because the A2 style is really a great discovery. Everybody knows the A1 style already. Everybody can do it even without formal education. But when it comes to the A2 style, we suddenly discovered a secret that the IELTS writing test operates from. And so it was really necessary to pound on the A2 style, including all the evidences that support it in the form of the rewritten essays from passer students who scored Band 7 and Band 7.5. But get ready because the level of complexity is even gonna go higher, and this is marked by even further discoveries that were made that reveal even more abstract argumentative strategies that increase the students' chances of passing even further. That is the subject of video number 8. But instead of going straight out into the lesson, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna show you an essay that was rewritten by a student of mine who just took the exam like a few days back, and we still don't have the results of this for sure, so we're gonna be waiting for the results after 13 days. But this writer used one of the B styles, and I like to show you that this is surely a passer essay. We are really talking about the IELTS writing exam, task 2 particularly. And I've never seen a test as pretty as this. This is really a great test. Teaches a lot of great lessons that we never really learn in years of education. For those who are new to the IELTS writing test, you're still talking about task 2. It's really all about argumentative writing, wherein you posit a number of arguments in defense of an opinion, and you need to solve the problem using the rules of logic. You need to write an essay at a minimum of 250 words. You can write more than that. In fact, if you've seen the last videos, we've created essays that were running at over 400 words already. That's okay as long as you have the time to create that kind of output, which is at a limit of 40 minutes only, and with the remaining 20 minutes of course being devoted to task 1. So far we have been talking about styles, argumentative styles. You've seen the A style, which is what we use when the question prompt is one-sided. So when you're confronted with a question prompt that's one-sided, for all intents and purposes, this is the to what extent do you agree or disagree kind of question prompt most of the time. You really only need to think of 2 styles. So if you agree to the one-sided question prompt, then you apply the A1 style, which is the agree argument. Just posit a number of arguments to defend your agreement. However, when you disagree, then you now cannot merely disagree exclusively. What you need to do now is to implement the A2 style. This is really a great finding. A lot of students pass using the kill style, and the kill involves mentioning the agree arguments and then killing the agree arguments consequently, therefore concluding the essay with your opinion on the disagreement. Another variant of the kill style is the kill and bury. So the kill part is where you mention the agree arguments and then you kill it afterwards. And then the bury part is where you proceed to mention your own disagree arguments. So again, for the A styles, the kill and bury is optional. You really do not need to mention the bury arguments. You can if you want to, but it's not really necessary. It's not mandatory because the question prompt actually only mentions the arguments of the agree side, which you are going to kill. The kill and bury style is also applicable for B styles. B styles are now what we call question prompts that have explicitly cited two sides of a particular issue. It's no longer the one-sided question prompt that we've been discussing from A1 up to from video 1 up to video 7. But the difference now is for the A2 style, which is still applicable for the B styles or for crossover styles. The difference is that the kill and bury now becomes mandatory. You cannot just kill the arguments of one side of the issue. I'm sorry about that. You just cannot kill the arguments of one side of the issue, but you will need to mention the other side of the issue as well. So maybe we should say that this is a mandatory kill and bury style for crossover question prompts. So quickly, in a crossover question prompt, when you favor one side over the other side, you need to perform three steps. So the first step is that you mention the arguments of one side, the opposing side of the issue, the side that you do not agree with, and then you kill it afterwards. And then now with the bury part, you now mention the arguments for your side of the issue. And the reason why this becomes mandatory is because these two sides are explicitly mentioned in a question prompt because they are crossover question prompts. We are now supposed to discuss the B1 style, but I thought of doing something very interesting first. This is now going to be the primer of the B1 style, and this is the essay that my student submitted right after this student has taken the IELTS exam. And this is really a practice that I do in my classes. For all my students, I really ask them to rewrite their essay after the exam so that we can actually evaluate the outputs and make early predictions as to the results of that output. So this was from 2 days back. Some people believe that an organization will become successful if there's good communication between managers and workers. Others, however, believe that there are important factors that make up a successful organization. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So clearly, it's a crossover. So in the essay, you will mention this side of the issue in conformity with cardinal rule number 2 discussed in the videos previously, which states that everything in the question prompt should be expounded, expanded, explained, and elaborated in the essay. And after having discussed that part, you now proceed to discuss the opposing side of the issue in conformity with the same rule, thereby making the question prompt unquestionably a crossover question prompt. But after having discussed both sides, then what you now need to do is to solve this problem. So what IELTS has been doing is IELTS has been throwing you a dilemma for you to solve, and if you are unable to solve this problem involving two sides of an issue, then that is not the band 7. So the problem solving strategies are exactly what we're talking about, the A, B, and C styles. Let me first emphasize the need to bullet, to allot 5 minutes in order to prepare an outline for your essay. And one of the things we need to do is to read the question prompt very carefully. If you see over here, we are talking about organizational structures. So these are companies, corporations, involving a number of people working towards supposedly a common goal and vision. And as it is in any organization, you will have people who manage and people who do the hard work there. So therefore you need to explicitly mention these dynamics that are cited in the question proposition. And then now you need to discuss whether, in order to become a successful organization, is good communication a key between managers and workers. So you need to explain that further. What does it mean? What does good communication mean? And why does it result in a successful organization if managers and workers have good open communication between them? After having mentioned that, you can now proceed to the succeeding line of argumentation, wherein you discuss other important factors that make up a successful organization. Remember, you are talking under the confines of an organizational structure over here. So please make sure that the important factors that you cite are related to organizational aspects rather than more personal characteristics or personal concerns. And then after having discussed both, after having bulleted, after having created arguments for both, then remember you're still in the bulleting stage, you're still creating an outline. Then please do not forget to have a corresponding problem solver to this question. So if you notice, the prompt is just merely asking you to discuss both your views and give your opinion, but essentially what the prompt doesn't say is that you should solve this problem, thereby justifying the A, B, and C styles that we are talking about in this series of videos. This is the essay that my student wrote. Quite a good student. This student of mine has written quite a number of essays for practice and goes into the IELTS exam feeling very confident, well trained. So this is the introduction. Organizational dynamics have become a subject of dispute recently. If you listen to the last video, this is what we call the hook statement, and that is something that we will discuss in further detail in a separate video. And then the writer follows this up with, a number of people believe that good communication between managers and workers is the key in order for an organization to succeed. However, others argue that there are more essential factors that should be considered for it to become successful. This is now what we call the paraphrase, wherein all the writer did is to rephrase the proposition as stated in the question prompt. And so all the writer had here is the hook and the paraphrase. And if you remember, there are two other elements, which are the forecast statement and the thesis statement, but the writer chose not to use these anymore. So now the writer is going to talk about good communication between managers and workers as indicated in the question prompt. Some people believe that organization success, so let's just correct that briefly. Remember in the previous videos, like what I've been showing you, there have been some errors that have been committed, language errors that have been committed by my students, but these did not prevent them from achieving their targets, because precisely they were focused on logical, argumentative problem solving structures. So even with the presence of language problems, you can still score a band 7 or higher. So some people believe that organizational success lies in the flow of communication in the workplace. That is now the topic sentence, and the writer is now going to follow up with a series of supporting arguments, and that's the rest of the paragraph. This is probably because of their understanding that good communication opens up a number of positive effects, especially in how workers play their role within the organization. A case in point is when somebody has a brilliant idea to improve the systems in place, he or she will not hesitate to share it to the group, as he or she knows that it will be heard. Good communication in the workplace definitely offers a lot more positive impacts, including the one mentioned above. So this is really good argument that the writer chose. And the argument was indeed well supported, well expounded, expanded, explained, and elaborated. Very nice. So my only observation about this particular paragraph is the writer could additionally inject an argument that maybe states that apart from this, if there are any existing problems being encountered by workers, then these problems can easily be brought up to the attention of management, who have the capacity to resolve such problems. This being said, no problems. No, wait. We've been saying problems quite repetitively, so maybe let's use another word. No dilemmas unnecessarily linger that prevent productivity and results in the workplace. So that's a recommendation I made to the writer, but even without this, the paragraph is good. So this is what we call the topic sentence, and this is now the supporting arguments. So that would have been a great bullet as well, but like I said, this one is sufficient as it is. So if you notice, for this entire paragraph, what the writer actually did is expound, expand, explain, and elaborate the concept of good communication, what it is and what does it do to an organization. And then the writer did argue based on the framework of managers and workers in an organizational setup. So we are now moving to the second body paragraph, where the writer will cite more important factors that make up a successful organization. So, however, others believe there are more essential ways to help an organization achieve success. That is a topic sentence, and we're now going to the supporting argument. One of these is a positive working environment, and then the writer put in parenthetical remarks that he cannot remember how he exactly expounded this essay. But I'm sure the writer expounded on this well, and this is really a good bullet. The work environment is indeed as important as a good communication between management and labor. And here's the second bullet. Another is by offering a just compensation for the workers, and more importantly, giving them physical, emotional, and mental health support. All these will definitely help the frontliners work in their utmost performance. So my only beef with this argument is that it wasn't as fully explained and elaborated, but the bullets are correct as they are. It would have helped if the writer just added a sentence just to push further the idea that this is really gonna help make an organization successful. So the writer now goes into the third body paragraph. Personally, I believe both views are equally essential as their contribution to the success of an organization. It now rests in the hands of the managers if they're willing to adopt a good communication flow, all the while maintaining a positive working environment. Let's just add the article over there. Compensating well and taking care of the workers in all aspects. That's really nice. So what the writer was really intending to do is to show that in order to improve the organizational structure or the functions or the efficacy of an organization, so worker concerns must be addressed in all aspects. That in a way kind of explains the physical, emotional, and mental health support. In a way, I would have hoped the writer would have explained it further though. So in conclusion, both views presented valid points as they provide a sound contribution to make up a successful organization. The decision now lies in the hands of the managers whether or not to adopt the recommendations to improve their current system. So as the writer submitted this to me, and I told the writer that yes, you can expect that this is really going to score you a band 7 already. Let me just fit all of that in a frame if that's possible, so that you can go back to it and review it accordingly. Okay, we're having problems fitting it in the frame again. This isn't gonna take very long. There. Okay, so that's the first half of the essay. There, you might want to pause the video at this point just to look at all the arguments all over again. And then this is now the second half of the essay. There, over there. For the however part. This is now the crossover. Alright, so the however signal the crossover. And then feel free to just pause the video at this point so that you can look at the second part of the essay. The writer can actually combine all of these into a concluding statement already if the writer wanted to, but even after having separated them, it's still okay as it is. So what I told the writer is the results will come out after 13 days, and I told the writer that you did very well, you surely are well trained, and this is really a product of hard work, and you had good bullets and you had a good problem solver. You did perform the B1 style really well. So that being said, remember we haven't even discussed the B1 style yet. So what I did here is to use the inductive approach to show you a sample first before we actually go into the lesson. So maybe you can hazard a guess as to what the B1 style is, judging by the look of the essay itself. And maybe you can tell me, or you can ask me, or you can make a guess in the comment section below. What do you think the B1 style is all about? And what is the B style in essence, as differentiated from the A styles? So again, let me remind you to please subscribe to the video so that you will receive updates when new videos are posted, so that you won't miss a video, because every video is important and critical in the learning process. Trying to skip videos will now just end up confusing you, because there's clearly gaps in the line in the presentation of the lessons. Please click subscribe and please watch all the videos in their entirety. Do not cheat. IELTS is really an important test, an expensive one, so please attack it with the same level of intensity. I'll see you in the next video, guys, wherein we will finally talk about the theories that govern the B1 style, and I'm gonna keep you in suspense. So I'll see you in the next video, everyone. Bye.